I think I'm going to start recording my videos from. I don't know why it is, but my videos will stop all of a sudden whenever I get. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to test to see how long videos go without me stopping them without any content. And I'm turning my Wi-Fi off because I get this feeling somebody's watching and is determining what they want to see and what they don't want to see. I guess it doesn't really matter what I say. I don't think this thing is going to stop all of a sudden. Maybe the YouTube would do that, the YouTube side of things. But it's the technology would become really unresponsive to me. And well, I was looking at the, was it Neil Stevenson or whatever, the guy who did Snow Crash, and I went to Audible and I was curious, and I took my last credit that I had available. I was not sure what I was going to get. And the previous book I got was I Was, and before that it was what's his name, Michael J. Fox's book. And I just was like, I've always heard about Snow Crash, and I was curious about this guy, and I watched him give a talk in front of people, and it came across to me that this is a guy that's afraid. Seems to be that he's like afraid to learn about anything else, as it might give him unoriginal ideas, and so I guess he wants all of his knowledge to come from leading a simple life. And so he's hoping to come up with, is he like a Gnostic person, is God going to drop knowledge, ideas or whatever into his brain, and he's going to think that way? I think that's how I get mine. I'm not sure. But we're designed. I just said it in the previous video, is that we're designed to sin, and by that I mean that we're designed to be able to make our own decisions. We're designed to make do with limited perception. How we perceive is through eyes and ears, through sound, through image, and from that we communicate through our mouth. We can communicate through drawing, through whatever, anything that we can produce. We try to communicate information, and book is one form of that. But how we conceptualize information, how we generate the idea in our head, is by combining stuff we already know. But we all know something different. Therefore, the ideas we form in our head, the concepts, the way the neurons store the information is going to be different from person to person. Therefore, a neural link is not possible, because each person's collected concepts and relationship, those concepts, to produce the ideas that are similar between person to person but not the same, are they're not going to translate from one person to another perfectly. And that's the reason why we have disagreements, is that our conceptualization of information is different. We don't all conceptualize the same way. So whenever you see a ball, you'll see a ball different from someone else. There are people who don't see text as black and white. They see it in color. That's another example where the conceptualization was different. And so how the brain sees stuff is different from person to person. How you see visual stuff and how you hear is different. Everything any limitations on your perception, the brain adapts to those changes and is able to help you communicate to others through this constrained input and output that you've got. And that produces one man's attempt to adapt to reality is another man's perception of creativity in the other man. So they say, oh, you're much more creative. No, this person conceptualizes stuff differently from you. It seems like creativity from your point of view, but from his point of view, this is how he survives. And there's things like that go on. And so that's the reason why whenever you like sing or you do something, there are people out there that become fans of that, and you're like, well, there's nothing special about what I do, And that's true. In your mind, there's nothing special about what you do, but what you don't understand is that you conceptualize things differently from somebody else, and the way you deal with problems are different from the way they deal with problems. And then they might find some efficiency, or they might find something really far out about how you perceive information and how you come up with solutions. Everybody's going to do it differently. And because of that, there's not going to be agreements. There's going to be disagreements. There's going to be agreements, but there's not going to be complete one-to-one understanding. It never will happen, because someone will always have a little bit of a different perspective, if not a lot of different perspective on everything that is perceived. And how they respond to it is also going to be different. It's going to be dependent upon the upbringing. It'll be dependent upon how ideas were communicated to them as children. All the base case of everything that they are is going to be different. The basis of all of their understanding is going to be different. Some things are going to be the same for everybody, but some things are going to be so different that nobody can really understand those thoughts or those processes without completely understanding all the other stuff that is related to that, and how you came about to understanding it, and then how you decide or perceive about new stimulus. And so, anyhow, when I look at guys like Elon Musk, I can't figure out what the fuck is so great about him. He just doesn't talk very much, and he talks about electrical cars, which everybody knows that it's been around forever. And we learned from the EV1 that these cars could go really fast. The major differences that get people to buy more cars for more money is where they become more efficient and faster when you press down the gas and whatnot. These muscle cars are going to have their muscles removed and possibly their testosterone as well. And they will pretty much be the same as any other car anywhere else in the world. If you demand absolute efficiency, then you're going to lose the human aspect, which is what God values in us, is the ability for us to use limited perception and adapt to change. All the Judeo-Christo God would want is for us to understand each other. And this is not going to go about easy. This is very hard. And to understand God is to understand other people. And so you have to learn about other people. You have to listen to documentaries. You got to listen actively to lots of stuff. And then from that, you can develop a perspective and then communicate that to other people who might have differences with those people as well. See? And so we're kind of trying to keep the peace and trying to get people who would have nothing to do with each other to learn to live with each other, and then maybe find what the others bring to the table that is not available in the culture in which you come from. That everybody can provide something, and that there's value in that. And if you can do that if you can show how each individual is able to produce a lot of valuable content, then you're going to respect them more. And you're going to notice that everybody's bringing something new that has never been seen before. That's going to encourage the creation of good, I lost what I was going to talk about. You see, that's the thing, is that get this bone, I'm kind of like, is that a... And then hopefully this recorder's not going to stop me. It stopped me at 17 minutes, and I thought it was storage. And I get this, I decided to turn the Wi-Fi off because I get this feeling that something's eavesdropping on me. And so if I turn off the Wi-Fi, maybe it will stop at 17 minutes. Maybe we'll see. If it is something to stop me, it's either a demon or it's the Holy Spirit, and they're wanting me to come up with something, because the more you iterate over something, the more you dwell on an idea, the more you express an idea, the more perfect that idea will be the second time, third time you go through. That's the only way we're able to attain perfection is, and that's only in things that we do and things that we perceive, that we can attain. How we can create value, I guess. Well, I'm stopping the video.